Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my channel. My name is Meg and I am a fully qualified yoga teacher. Today is day 25 of my 30-day yoga challenge, and today we're going to be focusing on some balancing poses to help with focus. We're going to be looking at eagle and we're going to be looking at warrior. I'm going to be showing you some techniques and to help you come into your balancing postures and how to keep that balance for longer and how to strengthen through the body to be able to hold these poses for longer. You don't really need anything to follow along with this class. I always recommend using a good quality yoga mat onto a hard surface. You can use blocks and straps as well here if you want to, but it's not a complete necessity, just if you feel more confident or if your hamstrings are maybe quite tight or you struggle with balancing postures anyway. Maybe have some blocks at the ready just in case. If you don't have blocks, you could use a chair, a stool, something to help you so that you can place it down onto the floor and help to get you into the postures. You can also do this against a wall as well if you don't have anything else, just to again help you with your balance. And when you're ready, we will get started. We're going to start today's class standing. The three poses that we're going to go over in today's class are all going to be standing. These are all balancing postures, so they're all going to be working on your strength through your tummy, your legs, your glutes. This is going to challenge your muscles all the way through your body, your muscles in your feet, your legs, your glutes, everything. It makes such a difference. When you've got strength through the body and when you're engaging through the body, it makes balancing poses so much easier to do because your muscles are working. But it's important to get the kind of right steps in the beginning to make sure you can hold it. You know, if you think about it, if your posture is limp and you're leaning forwards, your legs aren't engaged, and you're then trying to balance on one leg, it's really hard to do that. It's hard to lift that leg. But when you're lifted and you're squeezing your tummy in and you're kind of engaging through the whole body, coming up onto that leg is a lot easier than when you're all wobbly, because it helps with your center of gravity. If you think about something, even though it feels like it defies gravity, if you think about a pyramid or something like that, balancing on a point, it's not leaning over one way or the other. If you're going to get something that has a small base to balance, you need everything to be in line. You need everything to be straight down. And that's a similar principle as a human being, because yes, we are fundamentally all different shapes and sizes, but realistically, we've got wide shoulders and then really we go in towards the feet. Like if your feet are together, your shoulders are wider than your feet. So we're kind of like a wider top and a lower base. So this is why it's important to make sure you lift, engage, and keep everything in a straight line, so that when you're then lifted up on your toes, you're less likely to wobble. If you rock backwards or forwards, you're going to fall. You're not going to be able to hold it, or it's going to be a lot harder to hold it. So when you're coming into balancing postures and you're changing where you are, that engagement through your body is so important. So it all starts in the feet. So if you look at my feet, I will always, in balancing postures, lift, spread the toes apart and place each toe down one at a time and grip the mat with my toes. The reason I do this is so that I have more of a surface area. So when I'm balancing, I'm less likely to wobble, and I'm gripping the mat with my toes. So it's similar to like climbing up a tree. You've got better grip. So these are the two things that I always do. I try to make sure my feet have got a good surface area and I'm gripping the mat. This is something that over time gets easier. We're going to start off in our eagle pose and we'll work from there. So to begin with, think about lifting, spreading your toes apart, placing them down one at a time, gripping the mat with your toes. You're lifting up through the legs and trying to spin your knees in towards each other, but yet pull them apart at the same time. Tuck your tailbone under and squeeze the belly. This is where you want to be in your balancing postures, engaging every single muscle through the body. Think about lifting up with the tummy and tucking the tailbone under or squeezing your glutes. Maybe start by just lifting one leg up, and this might be enough for you, and this might be enough for today's class. Absolutely fine. Even if you just want to take the leg down, bring it back up. Take the leg down, bring it back up. Absolutely fine. If you want to come into your eagle pose, we're lifting up the left leg and we're going to take it over the top of the right. See if you can wrap the leg behind, so it's coming all the way in front, and maybe wrapping the foot around the back of the leg. From here, you can start to bend into the right knee. If this is enough for you, you can stay here. So you can stay in this position, maybe take the arms out to the side, helping you to balance. Maybe you can take the hands onto the tummy. When I used to dance, this was a trick that we used to do a lot, is place our hand on our belly button when we were little to help us. Gazing at something that isn't going to move and spotting and holding that gaze on that. If you want to add on, you can then take the elbow, the left elbow into the inside of the right elbow crease. Take the hands back to back or palm to palm and bend into the leg to take you into your eagle pose. Squeeze your tummy muscles and squeeze through the body. We'll hold, 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 and let it go. Shake the legs out if you need to. We'll do the same on the other side. Lifting, spreading the toes, placing them down one at a time and gripping them up with your toes. Maybe just focus on lifting that left leg up, or the right leg up even, and maybe taking it down. Maybe this is as much as you can do, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe you can take the right leg over the top of the left and just keep it hovered, but you're not actually wrapping the leg around. So if this, so with the leg hovered up, wherever you are feels good, that could be your next option. It's always important to take your time when you're coming into poses like this, because you will build strength as you gradually go, but you cannot expect to go from 0 to 100 like that, because you need to build that strength up, especially if there is a weakness in your body. So if you can, we're lifting the right leg and wrapping it all the way around and taking a bend into the left knee. You can then bring the right elbow into the left elbow crease and maybe wrap the hands so they're back to back or palm to palm. Find something to focus on, gaze onto it, deeper bend maybe into the knee, and we'll hold, 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 and unwrap. Shake the legs out, and we'll come into our next pose. We're going to take this into our Warrior 3. Warrior 3 is one of my favorites to do. I really enjoy it because I feel like it makes me feel really strong. You've got a few different options in Warrior 3. Wherever you are, wherever you start, think about lifting and spreading the toes apart and placing them down one at a time and gripping them out with your toes. We're going to start with the right foot. So we're going to lean over towards the left and just start by lifting that right leg up, maybe an inch or two. Maybe you can bring it up into the hip socket. This might be your number 1. Warrior 3 is when you start to take the right leg behind, tipping forwards like you're a scale, slowly coming forwards to the point where you are in line with the mat. Maybe then you can bring your arms out and in front. That's your full Warrior 3. Quite difficult, especially if you're new to yoga, or especially if your hamstrings are not very strong or your knees are a bit wobbly. So I like to do it with my beginner classes, holding against a wall, a bar. For example, I could use this, just so I have that balance there. And don't focus on bringing your arms out and in front. That's your last movement. If you're able to tip all the way forwards, hold it, squeeze through the glute, that's when you can think about bringing the arms out in front. For now, hold on to something, use blocks, straps, chairs, lift the leg and keep your chest and your leg in line. So if your leg tips just a couple of centimeters back, don't keep yourself upright, tip with the leg. So you're in a nice straight line wherever you are. So if your leg can come all the way up, you'll be facing towards this floor. But if your leg can only come a little bit, you'll be lifted up. So it's about leaning the same as your leg, as if you're a scale, tipping forwards and tipping back. So find where it feels best for you. You can always hold onto the wall, and that's where we will hold this. So find your best pose, or where you feel strongest. Squeeze through your glutes, squeeze through the tummy, and we'll hold, hold, hold. Come back up. Same on the other side. Lifting the left leg this time. And again, maybe your balance isn't great, and that's enough for you. Just lifting that leg up, placing it back down. Lifting it up, holding it, placing it back down. That could be all you do throughout this class, and just watch and learn at the same time. So lift a leg, take it down. You're still going to internalize everything I'm saying, and it will be something that you can come back to in the future. But for now, if that is enough for you, lifting the leg and holding it, that's hard enough and that's a challenge enough, stay there. Start to take the leg back and behind if it feels comfy, and keep tipping to a point where you feel like it's a challenge, but maybe you can hold it. Focus down into the floor in front of you. I love my Lifeform mat. It's not an ad, but I do love the mat that I've got because it's got lovely, beautiful patterns on it, and it's got little circles, and actually it's got the phases of the moon in tiny, tiny form. So I like to focus on a full moon when I'm in poses like this, and it helps with my balance. So find something to spot onto the floor. Maybe it's just a little, you've got wooden floor in front of you, maybe it's something in the wooden floor, maybe there's something on your mat. Square your hips forward, so make sure you're not lifting your hip up towards the ceiling. That will be for our next pose. So we're squaring the hips down, and we're slowly coming to a point that feels best for you. And we'll hold, 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 coming back up. So now we'll come into our last pose, which is our half moon. I like to get into half moon in a couple of different ways. You can either come from your warrior three, leaning all the way forward, take the hand down into the mat, and then instead of having your hips rolled forward, you roll them up towards the ceiling. That is one way to get into your half moon. The other way, which I think is a little bit easier, especially if you can't do a warrior three, is to use blocks if you've got them, if not use a stool, or place both of your hands down into the mat. Your first option, we're going to start with the right leg, is just to lift that right leg up. So this could be enough for you. Maybe you can start to lift your right hip and turn it up towards the ceiling. So imagine you've got a jewel on your hip and you're trying to bring it up towards the ceiling, shine it up to the sky. So you can practice rolling forwards and rolling up. Some people will find this easier than others. It's just practice. If I show you from the other side so you can see what I'm doing, my hips are facing forward and then they're rolling up, facing forwards and then they're rolling up. When you come into your half moon, you want that hip to be facing or facing up. So start on the right leg. Maybe this is enough. Maybe you're going to roll your hip up and down and get that opening in your hips. Maybe you can bring one arm up and away to come into your half moon. You can add on even more from here. So for example, you can pick up the bottom hand and you can gaze up towards the ceiling. I personally cannot actually gaze up towards the ceiling in my half moon. That's fine. I'll get there one day. So focus on what variation feels best for you. Squeeze your shoulder blades together if your arm is up towards the ceiling. Roll your hip bone up, straightening through the left leg, pushing through your left hand, and we'll hold, hold, hold. Bring it all down. We'll do the same on the other side. I forgot to say as well, when you're in your half moon, the leg that's lifted, really flex through the toes. So we'll start with our hands down either onto the mat, onto blocks, a stool, a chair, whatever feels best for you. And we'll lift the left leg this time. You can roll the hip up and down and then start to lift. Maybe you can lift up your left hand this time. Make sure your right hand is underneath your shoulder, so your hand that's down into the mat is underneath your shoulder. Flexing through your foot that's lifted, squeezing your shoulder blades together, and we'll hold, hold, hold. Come back down, pedal out the feet. Do any movements here that you feel like you need to, and we'll come all the way down into a seated position. Let's place the hands onto the knees, roll the shoulders back and down. We'll take a deep breath in and out. In and out. Taking a second to think of something that you're grateful or thankful for in your day. taking a second to be grateful and thankful for you. We'll take another deep breath in and out. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. I hope you found a little bit of clarity in those poses. I hope you found it good fun. Those 3 poses are 3 that I really enjoy doing. I find half moon still a challenge. It's something I'm still learning a lot. And in fact, all of them are still technically challenging for me. And they're lovely poses because you'll always be able to add on to them, and they will always be poses where one day you feel better and stronger than other days. This is normal in all of yoga, but especially in things like arm balances, handstands, standing balancing postures. It is so normal to have good days and to have bad days. It depends how well you've slept and how much energy you've got. It depends what food you've been eating. It depends on your hormones. It depends on so many things. Just because one day you feel like it's really, really, really difficult doesn't mean that another day you won't try it and go, oh wow, I feel a lot better, especially if you're practicing. But in that practice, it will dip and flow, but it's almost like it goes like this. It continues to go up, but you'll have good days and bad days. So you'll have one day where it might be down here, but then another day where you're going up. But the trajectory is the same. You will always slowly get better and better. That's how I like to think of it anyway. I really, really hope you enjoyed that class. Please like and please subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me when you guys support me, support this channel, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, sending super thanks. It all helps me to build up in this channel and create a space for everyone that's really inclusive. It helps me to grow as a teacher and a student and a practitioner. It helps me so much to bring you guys what you deserve, the best teacher I can possibly be for you guys. So thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our next day of our 30-day yoga challenge. Thanks.